join us in 10 minutes. So we'll get a couple of calls in, and then we'll break and we'll come back with the Giant co-owner. John in Jersey. What's up, John?
Hey, Mike. How you doing? Yeah, this whole thing with the Jerry Reese and the McAdoo firing question, do you think there's any chance they might bring back a Corsi to do GM? And
I don't think Ernie would come back and be the judge. I think he might be in charge of the search now, and he might recommend them a candidate. He's very well attuned to the league. I do not think he would come back and do it again, no.
How about Coach Fossil? You think they might bring him back?
No, he's not a guy who would be a general manager candidate, and they're not looking at coaching candidates, I don't think, yet, unless they would be looking at a guy for both jobs, which would then be the mega coach. That would be the Saban, the Cowher, the Gruden, although I don't see Gruden being a guy who would fit the Giant mold. I just don't think he does.
How about somebody like Mike Holmgren?
Too old.
Too old.
Yeah, too old now to come back. I think it's passed him by. I don't think so. I think that day's gone. George in Plainview, what's up, George?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thank you, Mike.
What's up?
I'm sorry, Mike. This thing with the Giants, if Eli had accepted that first request, I guess, where he would just start the game and maybe come out in the half, this probably would have never got public. Why don't you think he took that? Because he was playing old this year anyway.
I think that was considered as the only reason that was considered as even a possibility was to protect the streak. I think Eli felt that would make his streak look like it was a bogus attempt to keep his streak alive, and that would be belittled everywhere. And he's right, it would have been. And I think he felt, hey, if you're doing that, the only reason you're starting me then, if you're not letting me finish the game, then you then at least are telling me that you're just doing it to help protect my streak. I don't want that done. John said something interesting. He said, I had hoped Eli would play well enough that it would make it that he could stay in the whole game. But he was not offered that. He was not offered that kind of flexibility. He was told he was going to be replaced. If he had been told that you can start, but if it's not going well, we're going to replace you, he probably would have said yes. John talked about there being flexibility in the presentation. I think that's what he was looking for, was flexibility in the presentation, because he did say, I had hoped that if Eli was playing well, he could still be there. Now, one thing that I told you I was against all last week was the idea that this was done to tank games. I told you that that was not the case. I've been around the Maras long enough to know how they judge a season. John told you adamantly today, the most important thing is to win the games. That's what he's trying to do here. And I believe the biggest reason he changed the coaches is because of the confusion, because he wants to win the games. Also, he also knew that this week, with the Cowboys coming in, was going to be an utter disaster for McAdoo. An absolute disaster. Tommy in Fort Lee. What's up, Tommy?
Oh, God, Mike, thank God it's over. This was worse than Hanley. I couldn't even deal with it anymore this year. But anyway, moving forward, I love Spagnuolo. I don't think he has any shot at the head coach.
I think it's a very tough. I mean, unless they pitch 4 shutouts, I don't see how his resume would be good enough, to be honest with you. The team hasn't won big with him here and in his return, and he was a very poor head coach.
Is his job safe as a defensive coordinator?
No, I would think absolutely. I would think absolutely not. I mean, you have to allow the new coach to bring in his staff if he wants to come in here. So I don't believe so. No, I think if that would be up to the new head coach. I don't think Spags is. They would offer Spags as being an absolute guy who has to be part of the furniture. I don't believe that for a second. You know, I don't believe there'd be any contingencies on the head coach under any circumstances. Greg in Greenpoint, what's up, Greg?
Hey, Mike. I just got another little comment question for the McAdoo Giants situation. What is it you think? To me, it seems like this was a little personal with McAdoo. Like, he wanted to start Geno Smith over Eli Manning.
He did.
You know, he wasn't trying to do what John John Mara was saying, let's ease into you guys, let's get Webb up to speed. Webb wasn't even ready to play. Like, why would a second-year head coach come into New York and have something against Eli Manning? It just doesn't make any sense to me. But that's
well, first of all, remember, he didn't just come in; he was here with them as an offensive coordinator. So he was here with them. But I agree with you. It actually seemed like the Eli's lack of mobility bothered him. Okay,
yeah,
so I do think it did, and I think he really wanted to run his offense with another quarterback. I think he was burning to run his offense with another quarterback. I really believe that was part of it for McAdoo. I really believe that was part of it. I don't think he ever showed Eli the amount of respect that he deserved, to be honest with you. But I really always felt that he wanted to run his offense with a mobile guy. Abe in Brooklyn, what's up, Abe? I don't know what that is. George in Westbury, what's up, George?
Mike, that's what makes you so good, the way you listen to interviews and you can pick things out that completely went over my head. Let me tell you something. This is a guy you can't believe, Mara. He tells you he's going to stick with somebody till the end of the year, and he fires him when his feet get too high. They did it to Coughlin. They did it to Manning. And he couldn't take the pressure of sitting in that stadium this Sunday.
No, this got too hot to handle.
Better believe it.
Listen, the idea that every Giant ex-player that was going to come was going to wear an Eli Manning jersey, I mean, that was something that was reported yesterday that they didn't want that visual. They didn't want that visual. They did not want any part of that visual. Absolutely not. All right, when we come back, we'll be joined by John Mara.